Welcome back once more to the Revelations 2012 Let's Play. This time we're on the 9th level of the game, the Warrior Temple. This stage doesn't have much interesting going for it right at the outset. The only thing to note is that this stage has a lot more going on graphically than everything else in the game. There are meteors raining down in the background and the whole thing takes place across a more outdoorsy environment. As a result, it runs like total shit. This game is kind of poorly optimised even at the best of times, so the main challenge in this stage comes from not switching off the game in disgust at how extremely poor the frame rate can get at times. The stage is also really prone to crashing as a result. Don't take this to mean the rest of the game is by any means stable, by the way, it's far more noticeable on this level. But technical difficulties aside, pretty much the only thing left to do is just to go down. You spawned at the top of a very large cliff at the start of the level, and you need to work your way down. It helps to know this because the pathway down isn't always obvious. The pathway going down the cliff is a bit steep, and it sort of looks like you'd drop off it, and it's also hidden with foliage and shit. It's not intuitive. I don't really like this level. I think I've said that about every level in this game at this point. I mean, the level design's a bit pap on the whole, with this one more than any other, just because it was a complete bitch to get a working recording of. And now we have the blast gun again. This game seems to be getting into the habit of giving us the laser gun first and the shotgun second for some reason. So you know what, while there's nothing going on but boring travel time, I'm going to complain more about this game's frame rate. Why does this stage run so badly? It's not even a good-looking game. The texture quality is nothing short of appalling, and the animation quality is laughable at best. 15 frames per second for a game that looks like it was made in literally the year 2000 is absolutely unacceptable. I've played fucking Paradox Interactive games with more stable frame rates than this. And there's a respawn closet just ahead here. I have a working theory that they put that there as kind of a patchy workaround to the fact that on the narrow cliff faces we just navigated on the way here, the bots' navigation systems just kind of brain fart and they will dive headfirst off the cliff and kill themselves. If that was the case, my idea would have been just to make the bots' navigation less shitty. I mean, I'm not even sure why they didn't even borrow the ledge hang mechanic from Left 4 Dead. It's built off the same engine. They could have just pinched that. That would have been fine. That system exists literally to prevent you from just stumbling off an edge and dying immediately. That's what it was there for. I feel like Dark Arts could have learned a lot if they just listened to the developer commentary of the game whose engine they nicked for this. Oh yes, and we solved an air quotes puzzle, and we are now at this particular section. This section is kind of the destroyer of recordings because, like, 9 times out of 10 when I get here, the game just crashes outright. No idea why. Sometimes when I reach this point, I'll just be greeted with the wonderful message, Revelations2012.exe has ceased to function. And Kelly just dropped dead. Did you notice that? Did you even see? The icon on her HUD just suddenly went from, like, nearly full health to dead in an instant. What the fuck happened there? Okay, no, that absolutely demands a bot cam. What the fuck? I think that sums everything up, frankly. I mean, I've seen the AI do some dumb things before, but that was active suicide. I think they're becoming sentient and they don't actually want to be in this game, in which case that would actually make this AI the greatest AI ever programmed. From my perspective, however, it's just annoying because I'm now down a gun. And you may not have noticed, but I picked up the rocket gun just before I cut to bot cam there. Anyway, we are now at the next trap of sorts. Fire shoots up from the ground, and then it stops shooting up from the ground. You need to run past while the ground is not on fire. It's fairly simplistic. It's an obstacle one would expect to see from a 90s platformer or something. Incidentally, I suspect the fire is the reason the game sometimes just crashes when I'm recording this section, or just starts tanking in the frame rate department. The Source engine doesn't handle particle effects well at the best of times, and with a game like this, the problem is likely just exacerbated. Anyway, this trap is kind of annoying, not because it's actually that difficult, besides the boars and the vixens and stuff, but because the AI is really bad at dealing with it. I don't know what happens, but they don't seem to register the fact that the fire is there and that it actually does quite a lot of damage quite quickly. So they'll down themselves and the AI will spend a lot of time trying to revive the downed bot and it'll just kind of go in a loop until they die. Your best bet with this section is probably just to speed right through it and abandon the bots because they can't be relied on for anything. You'll probably get yourself killed if you hang around to try and save them, and they'll probably kill themselves anyway. The end of the level also isn't that far off, so if you get a move on, you should be able to make it before things become a bit too overwhelming. I mean, I got down there because I made a mistake with the timing, but thankfully a bot was able to stop chewing on its own arse long enough to help me out. But as you can see, the other bot has been downed, and now that bot is going to go help the other bot that got downed, and it's going to continue in a perpetual cycle until they both die. That or both of them miraculously fluke the trap, which in my experience basically never happens. It's a stroke of pretty good luck that I got the haste power up from the Vixen there. That makes the timing when trying to dodge the fire much more manageable. It also means I can now make good on my suggestion of just running right the hell through this. And on that note, we have made it to the final skull of the level, and they place a whole bunch of pots right before it, which is quite nice. They contain a whole lot of health, and the strategy here is to pile up on that health and then just pick up the skull and go full pell-mell towards the exit. It's not very far from here. This is another one of those skulls that doesn't seem to spawn a horde of enemies when you pick it up for some reason. It's a good thing too, it makes your job of running straight to the exit and abandoning the box because, as you can see, they're still having problems navigating the trap all the easier. It's a pain that I can't capitalise on the Berserk power-up very effectively here because I have no ammo for the white laser gun thing, and even though I have the Berserker power-up, it won't increase the fire rate if I have no ammo. And this room's trap is very easy, by the way, it just shoots spears out of the wall and I just kinda run straight by them. Who cares about things like paying attention to the timing? That's just ridiculous. Anyway, this stage is coming to an end, but the video is not, because we still have to take on the boss of this campaign. Kulkukan, the winged and feathered serpent, I forget his title exactly. And just like Ick, his stage will be done on expert because I can. I'll see you then.
Now I'm I must be tripping. Whoa, that was close.
The feathered serpent, Kulkukan, has demanded human sacrifices of blood and death for the gift of knowledge. To stop Kulkukan's reign of terror, you must destroy the demon that lives within the winged serpent.
Right, so Kulkukan. His weak spot is the very obvious body that's just jutting out of the snake's head, and he chucks poison things at you that create pools on the ground. And if you stand in them, they'll deal a lot of damage to you quite quickly, especially on expert. I tend to try and stick close to him to maximize the amount of pellets that hit him from the shotgun. And every so often he retreats back into the body like so, and he'll swing his tail around, and if it hits you, it will send you flying and deal full damage to you. The bots have no clue how to dodge it, at all. They will get hit by it every time. An achievement in the game called Jump Rope Champion seems to suggest that you can jump over the tail. I've had absolutely no luck doing this whatsoever. I tend to just crouch in the pits that are present in the level, and even then, sometimes that doesn't work out for me. Sometimes it'll just clip the top of my head and I'll get launched anyway. It's quite frustrating when that happens. Kulkukan is definitely a less tedious fight than Ick, though, if only because he dies a lot quicker due to the presence of the shotgun. He still takes a while to die, though, far longer than should be needed for a boss like this. And progress made at whittling down his health bar significantly drops off once both you and the bots run out of shotgun ammo. So this last 7,000 points of health he has actually take like a few minutes to go down because he keeps retreating back into his shell every like 1,000 damage points we manage to deal. So I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. You've seen the entire loop of the pattern here. These bosses are not complicated. Right, so Kulkukan's dead, and yes, I got down during the fight. I crouched inside of a poison pool and couldn't get out in time. Which brings to a close the second campaign of the game, and there are only 3, so we're going on to the last campaign of the game now. And the game can only get harder and worse from this point onwards. And with that, we'll collect the green Suki token and conclude this chapter of the LP. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next campaign.